Hello.
There you go.
There we go. Wow. Well, thanks for that fabulous introduction, Brooke. Thank you. Makes me sound cooler than I really am.
No, not yet.
I call myself the OG soccer mom. I'm just a soccer mom. But I also came up here only just because I wanted you guys to see my shoes. That's really the inspiration you need. When Lisa messaged me the other day and said, hey, do you want to take those shoes out again? I'm like, yeah, because they're only going to be able to wear them for an hour. So, they were my inspiration. Anyway, I wrote a little book. I like to call it's a small but mighty book called Fill Your Tank. I wrote this book as my daughter was getting ready to go off to college. My daughter plays D1 soccer. And yes, and she actually at that time was playing the Pac-12, go Cougs. So she committed to play at Washington State at 14 years old. And that was a lot. It was a lot for, she's just in high school. And she graduated from WSU in 2020 while still attending and got accepted into the grad school program. And she still had 2 more years left of college. So now she's 20 years old, and now she's 22 as of last month. So she's finishing her last year off at University of Central Florida, and still playing D1, but no longer Pac-12. And the intent for the book was not to be a published book. It was just something that I was sharing with her daily. It was just affirmations that I was sharing with her. A young girl going off to college very early than most people. And she wasn't even legal. She couldn't even drink. I was over there for her 21st birthday, and you guys know Poland, they like to drink over there. And so I was just seeing how she was struggling, and she was just like, I'm not the best. I don't feel like I'm not gonna be the best. I'm struggling mentally. We realized that she had mental health issues, and she was depressed, and she had anxiety, and you've got this beautiful, smart, tall, gorgeous girl, young woman, who feels like she's nothing, and she felt so small. How many people can relate to that? Raise your hand. Guys or women? Come on, guys. I know you have felt small at some point in time, yeah? Because we're human, right? It's like, look, you guys, nobody is as perfect in here but these shoes. So, she felt small in this big, area that's like, and it's also a small town. So I'm sending her these affirmations. All in all, it was helping her get through. Well, I kind of started sharing them on social media, and everyone was like, oh my God, you're helping me, and I'm a mom, and I'm a wife, and I'm going through this, and I'm going through a divorce, and I had her father and I divorced years ago, and we're great friends, but there's still people that could resonate with the things that I was saying to my young teenage daughter at the time. And so I decided to turn it into a book, and it was kind of like a love letter to her. And so it's become its own movement, and that's what Brooke was saying, is that it's kind of become its own movement. But what I realized in the process of me constantly trying to fill Khalees's tank, I wasn't filling my own tank. I have 20 years of HR, and I work a lot. And so I also have my own company, I'm speaking, I'm writing, I'm doing all these things, and a wife. And trying to and a mom, and manage my time. Wasn't doing it well. And so I thought, well, what would it take for me to fill my tank? Here I am, I've created a title that's putting it out there into the world, into the universe for people to do, and I'm not doing the same thing. And now I just want to crawl into a hole and not talk to anybody. And I'm going crazy, and my wife thinks I might be insane because I might want to throw a glass across the way. We've all done that too, right? So then I was like, what would it look like if I took care of myself? What would it look like if I put myself first? So one of the things I want you guys to think about before you leave here or after, what would it look like if you put yourself first? Putting yourself first is filling your tank. Setting healthy boundaries is filling your tank. You know, we sometimes let our friends or our families take advantage of us, or we might give them more grace than we would other people because it's like, oh, hey, it's our best friend, but our best friend keeps absorbing our time, and when we're with them, they feel like complete energy suckers. Do you really does that fill your tank? So when you think about what would it look like if I were to take care of myself, do that. And that's the one thing that I really realized. I said this, I think, the other day on New Day, it's just that saying that you have to put your oxygen mask on first before you help others. And that's really it. You cannot help other people. You can't really show up as your true self if you do not put your oxygen mask on first. And so your oxygen mask is really taking care of yourself and choosing yourself first. So fast forward, Khalees is doing great. She's had some amazing things happen. She's really a phenomenal. I might be a little obsessed with my child. Very. And she's just great. She's awesome, and she's been a huge inspiration in a lot of work that I do, and I'm working on 2 more books, and sometimes I can't even find my own head, but I love that she calls me out, and she actually will say the things to me that I've said to her. So therefore, I know that I am instilling in her as a young woman to go out into the world and share that same message of filling your tank. My father passed away a year ago, and a picture came up in my stories, and he was looking at the 425 magazine. Sorry. And it was in my living room, and he was reading the article, and he was so proud. So proud. And I just thought, God, I wish he could see me now. Yeah. And he's always so proud. But the one thing that I know he would be so proud of is that I'm filling my tank. And what I realized with grief is that it's easy to push it under the rug. And I realized in the last several months that I haven't grieved. I have not really allowed myself to grieve. Allowing yourself to grieve losses, whether it be a relationship or whether it be, a family member or someone close to you, that is filling your tank because you're allowing yourself to actually feel what's going on. And I thought, okay, well, my mom said the other day, she goes, God, your dad would just love to see all this. He would be so happy. And then I thought, and he would also love that I'm taking care of myself. And so that right there, it's like we are all so imperfect because, again, you're not as perfect as these shoes. But as long as you take care of yourself and you're filling your tank, that energy goes a long way. It extends. People feel that. It's like when you walk into a room and if you are just a miserable, they're gonna feel it. And so it's important for you guys to be taking care of yourselves and filling your tank. And again, that's just a daily reminder of yeah, I'm good. I'm enough. I'm worthy. And taking care of yourself. So thank you.